What is up, familia? We are making some soup today, and I wanted to share this quick little recipe with you. It's a fairly healthy, actually very healthy recipe take on chicken noodle soup, just minus the noodles. And we've got a couple substitutions that I've made that I think are really beneficial. And one little technique that I think will really kind of elevate this this recipe. It's a recipe that I just sort of came up with a couple winters ago. I was wanting a good hearty soup, and but I didn't want something real heavy. And so I think this will have a lot of flavor and will be really a nice thing as the weather gets a little colder to be able to make. You can portion it out, you can do meal planning with it, and it will go a long way. So let's take a look at the ingredients. Okay, so what we have here is something a little different. I wanted to kind of talk about this just for a second. The last few ingredients that I've talked about have included chicken broth, and I found this today at Walmart, and I looked at something on the ingredient list here that is really important. Chicken broth is still fine, but if you can find this particular Kitchen Basics chicken stock, other chicken stocks may be the same way. I haven't looked at them all. This is the only one I could find at Walmart. It's about $1 more, but you'll notice here on the ingredients list that there is there's no sugar, and it is extremely common in all of the different chicken broths to have sugar in them, and so that's kind of frustrating if you're trying to lay off sugar. You'd be surprised if you've never looked at the back of packages how many things have sugar in them. But nonetheless, you'll want some chicken stock, some broccoli slaw. Now this is one of the kind of departures from a typical ingredient. Most of the time, chicken noodle soup would have some carrot and celery, but because of Coach Jeff's awesome advice on the way we should be eating carbs heavy in the morning, sweet potato, things of that nature, and then as the day goes on, maybe draw back from that and go to more cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli, of course, is like the crown jewel of cruciferous vegetables, and so we've got broccoli slaw that does have some carrot and some red cabbage in it as well that we're going to use, and then just a couple, 2, 3, 4, however much you want to do of plain chicken breasts. Over here, I've already sauteed an entire onion and a little bit of garlic in our extra virgin olive oil. This is some of the slaw that I am also sauteing. I did this for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I actually added just a little bit of the chicken stock to give it a little bit of extra liquid to cook down. This will really help develop the flavor as we move forward. And then from this point, what we're going to do is add the rest of the chicken stock and the chicken breasts, and we can add them raw. It's totally fine, because we're going to let it simmer for about 45 minutes, and it will cook the chicken through at the end. Okay, so you can see at this point we've been going for about half an hour now. It's at a nice simmer. It's been cooking, developing some flavor. We've made some white rice as well. This is, you know, we're not going to be having this tonight because we are really trying to stay at a lower carb rate at night. But if this is for like maybe an early lunch, you can make this, package this. You'll put this in the bowl first and then just sort of ladle this stuff on top. Now I've pulled 2 of the chicken breasts here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a knife, and I'm just going to kind of roughly chop this chicken into small chunks. And then what we're going to do is, notice there's still a chicken breast over here. Here in a minute I'm going to use an Immersion Blender, and I'm going to blend the entire broth stock with all of the broccoli and the carrots and even that piece of chicken, and we're going to blend it all together. This is one of the kind of tricks that I do with this, is by blending that one chicken breast, it actually thickens the soup really, really nicely. It makes it heartier. It gives it almost a texture that you would expect from more of like a cream of chicken, but without the cream. And so it's a heartier, more winter time soup, but without the cream and all the bad stuff. So we're going to do that, and then we'll come back and look at the finished product. Okay, so this guy right here is called an Immersion Blender. I highly recommend these things. These are really, really nice for marinara sauces, and that's another recipe that we will demonstrate at some point here before too long. But it allows you to blend whatever you have in the pot. So you just stick it in there and kick it on, and it goes to work, and it blends all your stuff together, and you get a really, really nice mixture of broth with the finely chopped up broccoli and onion and garlic, and then eventually what we're going to do is we're going to hit that
piece of chicken as well, and like I said, completely obliterate that into the broth as well. Now here's the deal: if you don't have one of these, you can carefully with some clamps or a ladle or something substantial in your kitchen that you can use to gently pull these items out and put it into an actual blender. Just use caution. It's obviously very hot. If you have a glass blender, don't break the glass, let it cool. If you have a plastic one, then it should be fine. But this makes it a lot easier because you don't have to do that. So we'll get it all blended up, mix back together, show the final product in just a second. Okay, so if you were using some of the rice, we've spooned some of this in here to the bowl. And then we're going to come over here. This is nice and mixed up. I've put the chopped chicken back in. I've blended the rest of the stuff together, so it's a nice consistency. And just lightly ladle this right over the rice, just like so. And that makes a really, really nice cup of soup. And like I said, as it gets colder, it's a great little recipe. And the great news is it used chicken stock, chicken breast, broccoli, onion, garlic, and a little bit of olive oil. Simple, healthy, great tasting. Well, here we are. The soup was awesome. I actually have a little bit of it here with me. I'm at the 7 p.m. class, and we're about to crash it and bring a little sample size in as well before we take this pyramid and completely dominate it. Or get dominated. We'll see. Who knows? But we'll probably dominate it. But I just want to say that I think that this this particular recipe really will be awesome for you. It's got a lot of good protein in it and very, very low in calories and fat, obviously. So take it, try it, be warmed by it as it gets cold this year. And here we go. Hey, halus!